What's up, guys, and welcome back to my channel. In our first news, Carlos Prates has been reflecting on how fans treated him after his loss to Ian Gary, and he didn't hold back when explaining the frustration he carried into his next camp. He admitted that the unanimous decision defeat pushed many people to write him off, acting like he had already peaked or lost the fire that once made him so dangerous. According to Prates, a lot of fans assumed he was distracted with partying or drinking, and that he no longer had the discipline or focus to compete at the highest level. He said this criticism lit a fire under him, driving him to train harder than he ever had before, sometimes pushing himself through 3 intense sessions a day to prepare for Leon Edwards. Facing a former champion, Prates explained, carries huge meaning for his career, and he believes that a spectacular knockout could place him right in the conversation for a welterweight title shot. He acknowledged that others in the rankings might technically be ahead of him, but he emphasized that MMA is entertainment, and what truly sells is excitement, violence, and unforgettable moments inside the cage. Prates insisted that fans don't tune in to watch fighters hug for 25 minutes. They want blood, chaos, and highlight reel endings, and that's exactly what he plans to deliver when he meets Leon this weekend. He believes Leon is mentally weak, claiming that once the pressure rises, Leon stops thinking about winning and shifts into survival mode, and Prates intends to exploit that fully. In his mind, breaking Leon's body comes first, but breaking his spirit is just as important, and if everything goes as he expects, Prates says he'll be ready to jump back into the cage moments after the fight to call out the reigning champion. He stressed that momentum matters more than politics in the division, and if he delivers another violent finish, he believes the fans, the promotion, and even the champion will have no choice but to recognize him as a legitimate threat. Prates also pointed out that his fighting style is built for chaos, and that every time he steps into the octagon, he wants to remind the audience why they fell in love with the sport in the first place. He said that this weekend is his moment to prove he's still evolving, still dangerous, and absolutely deserving of a spot among the division's elite without any hesitation today. Moving on to another news, Leon Edwards has fired back at Carlos Prates with calm confidence, making it clear he believes Prates is stepping into far deeper waters than he realizes. Speaking to the media ahead of the fight, Leon explained that he's not bothered by the trash talk or bold predictions coming from Prates. He simply sees a fighter who's getting ahead of himself and who hasn't yet faced someone with his level of skill, experience, and composure. Leon said that when it comes to pure skill, athletic ability, and overall fight IQ, he knows he is the better fighter, and he plans to remind Prates of that the moment the cage door closes. Leon pointed out that the first time Prates stepped up in competition was against Ian Gary, and Ian beat him clean. Then, referring to Prates' last outing, he questioned what Jeff Neal was even doing in that fight, describing him as flat-footed, walking forward with a high guard, and giving Prates openings that won't exist this weekend. Despite that, Leon still acknowledged that Prates had some success, but he insisted that none of that will matter once he's standing across from someone who won't make the same mistakes. Leon believes Prates is in for a rude awakening on Saturday night, and he made it clear that he plans to show exactly why he's still one of the most dangerous and well-rounded fighters in the welterweight division. Moving on to another news, Max Holloway has shared a bold prediction that's already stirring up conversation across the MMA world. He believes JDM has a real shot at stopping Islam Makhachev and not just edging out a decision, but finishing him in the 3rd round. Max said people might call him crazy for leaning this way, but he's trusting what he's seen from JDM's style, mindset, and explosiveness. He expects the first 2 rounds to be extremely competitive, with both fighters having big moments as they try to establish rhythm and control. According to Max, the key factor will be JDM's takedown defense and his ability to neutralize Islam's wrestling, which he thinks will show up in a big way on fight night. Max explained that if JDM can consistently defend takedowns, keep the fight standing, and pressure Islam early, it could force Islam to work harder than usual and drain his gas tank. He acknowledged that Islam trains with big, strong guys, mentioning Khabib as an example of who Islam is used to grappling with. But he also pointed out that even though people say Islam never gets tired, you can see moments in his fights where he slows down. Max said Islam often just isn't as tired as the guy he's fighting, which makes it appear like his cardio is limitless still. He insists that with the right pressure and pace, Islam can be pushed to a point where his reactions become slower and his defenses start opening up. In Max's mind, the fight plays out with JDM defending takedowns, making Islam work harder than he wants to, and eventually wearing him down once Islam starts to tire. Max believes JDM's accuracy becomes a massive problem. He talked about how JDM can just ping you over and over again, landing clean, sharp shots that accumulate quickly. Max described JDM's precision as unreal, the kind of accuracy that forces opponents into mistakes they can't recover from. With all that considered, Max is leaning toward a third-round TKO for JDM, saying the combination of size, striking, takedown defense, and relentless accuracy could be exactly what breaks Islam open. Moving on to another news, Valentina Shevchenko has made it clear that she isn't expecting anything easy when she steps into the octagon against Zhang Weili. This weekend, speaking with calm confidence, Valentina said she knows exactly what kind of battle she's walking into, and she's fully prepared for a war. She explained that she never enters a fight expecting it to be simple, and this matchup is no different. According to her, there's nothing about facing someone as skilled and dangerous as Zhang that would ever suggest an easy night, and she's ready for every second of the challenge. Valentina talked about studying the openings she plans to exploit, saying she understands the holes she can use and the opportunities that will appear throughout the fight. She emphasized that knowing those things doesn't guarantee the fight will be smooth or predictable. She said that even with all the preparation, all the strategy, and all the technical understanding she brings, it still doesn't mean the matchup will be easy. She expects adversity, adjustments, and moments where she'll have to dig deep. For her, that's exactly what she trains for. She also spoke about her confidence, explaining that she knows her strengths, her power, and the level she brings when the lights are brightest. Valentina said she feels strong, mentally sharp, and fully locked in. She described this fight as a true battle, one that will test everything she has, and she's embracing that fully. She made it clear that she intends to leave every piece of her heart and determination inside the cage, giving everything she has from the opening bell to the final moment. Valentina added that this kind of challenge is what drives her and motivates her to push beyond limits in training. She's ready for the pace, the pressure, and the danger that comes with facing someone like Zhang. In her mind, this fight isn't just another title bout. It's an opportunity to show her evolution, her resilience, and her championship mentality. And when the time comes, she plans to rise to the moment with everything she's got. Moving on to another news, Jon Jones has released a powerful promo video for the upcoming UFC White House card, and it's already making waves across the MMA community. In the video, Jon speaks with a tone that blends pride, patriotism, and the unmistakable confidence that has defined his career. He begins by reflecting on the significance of the year 2026, when America will officially celebrate 250 years. Jon says he couldn't be more proud to call himself an American, emphasizing how deeply he loves the country, its people, and the promise it represents. He talks about how America was built on courage, on conflict, and on an unshakable belief that its people could take on the biggest challenges, the boldest opponents, and still come out victorious. Jon connects that spirit directly to his own life, saying that's exactly how he's lived from the moment he stepped into the sport. He explains that the same grit, determination, and resilience that built the nation also shaped his journey as a fighter. He then poses the idea that there's no better way to celebrate America's milestone than by bringing its greatest warriors together on one of the most iconic stages imaginable. He hints that the event might take place somewhere historically meaningful, maybe even on a certain someone's lot, adding just enough mystery to spark conversation without giving anything away. In the promo, Jon's voice rises with a fiery intensity as he talks about wanting to remind the world who Americans are, not just a country of words, but a country of warriors. He says the UFC White House card will be a chance for fighters to put their talent, toughness, and heart on full display, showing the world the spirit that defines them. He makes it clear that he's fueled up, fired up, and ready for whatever comes next. The video closes with Jon offering a heartfelt blessing, saying God bless the United States of America, and God bless the fighters who carry its spirit into every battle. The entire promo feels like a declaration, a rallying cry, and a statement that the 2026 UFC event could be one of the most memorable spectacles the sport has ever seen. Moving on to another news, Alexander Volkanovski has opened up about his relationship with Islam Makhachev, showing once again why he's one of the most respected figures in the sport, despite losing to Islam twice. He made it clear that the rivalry never created any bad blood between them. In fact, he said he has always seen Islam as a good dude and someone he genuinely respects, both as a fighter and as a person. Even though their fights were intense and highly competitive, Volk explained that the respect was always mutual, and that's something he values values deeply in MMA. Volkanovski also talked about recently helping JDM prepare for his matchup this weekend. He said JDM is his guy, someone who has been in his camp multiple times, and as an Aussie, he's always going to support and help his fellow countrymen. Volk made it clear that helping JDM had nothing to do with any lingering issues with Islam, because, in his words, they're on good terms and have always treated each other with respect. He said that when you spend years competing at the highest level, you learn to separate competition from personal relationships, and his connection with Islam is a perfect example of that. He admitted he'd love to train with Islam one day, explaining that he has great admiration for Islam's approach to fighting, his discipline, and the level of mastery he brings to grappling and control. Volk said that training with someone like Islam would only make him better, and he enjoys the opportunity to learn from great fighters whenever he can. However, he added that right now the priority is supporting his Aussie teammates, staying loyal to the people who train with him, and representing his country with pride. Still, he left the door wide open for a future collaboration, saying he'd welcome the chance to share the mats with Islam when the timing is right. Moving on to another news, Ariel Helwani has fired back and directly called out Dana White after Dana's recent comments, claiming that money ruins everything in MMA. In a clip that quickly spread across social media, Dana suggested that once fighters make huge amounts of money, their motivation fades. He used Conor and Khabib as his examples, saying both men earned massive paydays and then, according to him, lost the drive to continue competing. But Ariel wasn't having it. He immediately called Dana's statements disrespectful, insensitive, and above all, hypocritical. Ariel responded in a video posted on X, pointing out that Dana has profited tremendously from the very fighters he's criticizing. He highlighted the fact that Dana is worth hundreds of millions of dollars and has built his own success in large part because of the star power and drawing ability of fighters like Conor and Khabib. So, to blame money for their decisions while enjoying the financial benefits himself, Ariel argued, is not something that should be brushed aside. He specifically called out Dana's comments about Khabib, saying that suggesting Khabib retired because he got rich completely ignores the truth. Khabib has publicly explained multiple times why he walked away from the sport, and it had nothing to do with losing motivation or being comfortable financially after the passing of his father. Khabib promised his mother he would stop fighting. That emotional decision, Ariel emphasized, had nothing to do with wealth. Ariel also challenged Dana's narrative about Conor. He reminded viewers that after making life-changing money, Conor still fought several times he faced Khabib, then returned to fight Donald Cerrone, and later went through 2 intense bouts with Dustin Poirier. He even agreed to fight Michael Chandler, and had been preparing for that matchup. None of that reflects a fighter who simply quit because he made too much money. Ariel argued that Dana's comments ignore the reality of fighter pay and the struggles many fighters still face. According to him, most fighters are not making anywhere near what they deserve, and the idea that money is ruining them is unfair. Instead, he said, it's often the fighters giving everything, taking incredible risks, and still fighting for better compensation and basic respect. Wrapping up his response, Ariel pointed out the irony of a man who has made an enormous fortune off the sport, claiming that money is the problem for fighters. He said Dana would never admit that wealth has negatively affected him. Instead, he has enjoyed a long, successful, and extremely lucrative career, so Ariel concluded. Calling out Conor and Khabib while sitting atop hundreds of millions is, in his words, a little rich and undeniably hypocritical. Moving on to another news, Jon Jones has officially arrived in New York, and this time it's not just for media, interviews, or promotional work, according to multiple MMA outlets. And now confirmed by his longtime Russian training partner Rustam Khabilov, Jon is preparing to link up with Islam and Khabib for several intense training days ahead of UFC 322. This development has fans buzzing, partly because of what it means for Jon's preparations, and partly because of the incredible combination of elite minds that will be working together under one roof. This won't be the first time Jon has connected with fighters from Dagestan. Years ago, he made the trip out there to visit gyms, hold seminars, and work with young up-and-coming prospects back then. Islam and Khabib were not directly training alongside him, but this time the visit has a different energy. Now it's Team Khabib hosting him directly at their own facility, bringing together champions, former champions, and some of the most dominant styles in the sport. The confirmation came from Rustam Khabilov, Jon's former training partner from Jackson Wink and a proud Dagestani himself. Speaking with Russian media outlet Vestnik Emma, Rustam made it clear that Jon is already on his way and that both Islam and Khabib will be fully present during the sessions. He described it as a long-awaited second meeting between Jon and the Dagestani fighters, something they had discussed for years but could never align schedules for until now. He said the time has finally come and everyone is ready to welcome Jon into the room and get solid work in with him. For fans, this creates the possibility of something special. The very idea of Jon Jones rolling, drilling, or sparring with Team Makhachev has MMA fans imagining what that footage might look like, seeing Jon mix his skill set with the grappling intensity that Islam and Khabib are known for. Would be an unforgettable moment, and many are hoping cameras capture at least a few glimpses of the sessions. There's also a deeper connection between these camps that casual fans might not realize. Javier Mendez, the head coach of Team Khabib, has trained several fighters who previously worked at Jackson Wink, the same gym that molded Jon into one of the greatest fighters the sport has ever seen. So in many ways, this meetup feels like worlds that were always aligned finally coming together again. In his interview, Rustam was asked directly whether Islam and Khabib would be present when Jon arrives. Without hesitation, he confirmed, "Of course, everybody will be here." He added that Jon has been eager to return and finish what he started long ago with the Dagestani fighters now, with UFC 322 approaching. The timing couldn't be better, setting the stage for a powerful exchange of knowledge, training energy, and championship experience. Moving on to another news, Kamaru Usman and Henry Cejudo had a heated disagreement on their Pound for Pound podcast. While discussing what's truly at stake in the upcoming fight between Islam Makhachev and JDM Usman argued that if Islam wins, he ties the record for the longest win streak in UFC history, which makes this matchup far more significant for him than for JDM. He explained that Islam has the chance to cement his legacy by defeating a top contender from the division above, proving once again that he's one of the most dominant fighters of this era. Usman said that if Islam gets the victory, it elevates his resume in a historic way, something he believes outweighs the potential benefits for JDM. On the other hand, Henry pushed back hard, saying he completely disagreed with Usman's perspective. He argued that JDM has far more to gain because beating someone from the lineage of Khabib and his father carries massive weight in the MMA world. Henry emphasized that when someone defeats a fighter from that camp, it resonates deeply with fans due to the history, dominance, and aura surrounding their team. But as soon as he brought up Khabib's name, Usman immediately challenged him, asking why Khabib even needed to be part of the discussion. Usman made it clear that this isn't Khabib fighting and that the focus should remain entirely on Islam. He insisted that Islam has carved out his own legacy, has written his own story, and deserves to be recognized without constantly being tied to Khabib. Usman then expanded on Islam's journey, reminding viewers that Islam wasn't always the unstoppable champion we see today. He talked about the early loss Islam took to Martins and how that setback forced him to rebuild, evolve, and transform himself into the elite fighter he has become. According to Usman, Islam's rise from that defeat to where he stands now is proof that his accomplishments are his own, not borrowed from anyone else's legacy. Henry still maintained his stance, believing the symbolism of beating someone connected to Khabib would amplify JDM's win. But Usman stayed firm, saying that regardless of lineage, the fight is about Islam, his streak, and the chance to make history.